Our last movie this week was my pick, and it is a movie that's also probably going to land too high, that being the 2006 film Running Scared. And this is the film about an undercover cop who is attempting to bust the mafia, I guess, in New York City. And he basically loses a gun and needs to get it back, and it's some really long, convoluted plot about retrieving that gun and stopping a kid and being discovered. All this bullshit. There's a lot of fucking moving parts this movie. I'm not going to get into it too much.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Fun fact, the word fuck is used 330 times in this movie.
That's a lot, but bad fun fact, Tanner.
Oh.
That's almost as much as we use in this podcast.
True. We should start a counter. And also a credit system.
I'm putting this film, this is by far the film I enjoyed the most this week, at a B-.
Ooh. I also enjoyed this movie particularly much this week. I gave it an A- though.
I'm at a flat B myself.
There we go.
Dude, I fucking loved this movie. I'm at an A+.
There we go. That seems pretty valid, I think.
Okay, so like this movie was supposed to be bad. And it still wasn't like good necessarily, like technically speaking, but it was a fucking riot. I genuinely enjoyed watching it.
This movie is so manic. Yeah. Oh my god. Its editing is something to behold. It is truly insane.
Yeah, dude, that's my biggest negative for this film is the editing is it's a bit too experimental. I will say after the first, I think, half hour or so, it calms down a lot, and I really got into a rhythm with it. And yeah, the biggest thing for me is this movie reminded me a lot of Good Time. I think it's very similar, like story structure-wise, although this one, I think the big difference is I think the editing is a lot better in Good Time, but I actually like the plot in this one a lot more. I think the plot goes a lot more interesting places, and the twists work a lot better for me in this one. So yeah, the big plus is just the overall story with this one, all the crazy places it goes. And I thought the acting across the board was pretty good, especially Paul Walker. He is going fucking insane in this movie.
Yeah.
By the way, I just want to clear the air here. Does this movie have the most based thing we've seen in any movie ever so far?
Absolutely, without a doubt.
Yeah, it may just. That scene was fucking great, dude. I loved every second of that.
I freaked the fuck out. I was like, dude, this is so fucking real. Well, Jackson thinks they deserved worse, and I agree, but, you know, I still think it was the most base thing ever. That was great.
We should probably talk about what it was, by the way, here, to give people context.
Damn, I just wanted to leave him hanging.
Paul Walker, you know, he's, like, trying to find this fucking kid, because he got the, like, hot gun, and they're trying to find him. They just can't find him. Eventually, the kid ends up in the hands of some pedophiles, okay? And the kid gets a hold of one of their phones, and he calls Paul Walker's wife to come get him. She eventually comes to the home, finds the kid, as well as a bunch of tapes for a lot of other kids, and some dismembering tools. Yikes. And so she calls the cops to, you know, get the pedophiles, but over the phone she tells them, hey, so I live at like such and such street, I just heard some gunshots nearby, and then hangs up the phone and fucking blasts the pedophiles. It's phenomenal. I loved that shit.
Dude,
yeah, that was fucking awesome.
The really funny thing, too, is you can tell the wife was the dominant in that relationship, because the husband was so fucking submissive. Oh my god, he was just like, oh yeah, we'll do whatever you want. Oh, we should do what she says. Oh, and I just thought that was hilarious. I don't know why. But anyway, so get away from that now. Yeah, I think the acting was really good. I do agree, Paul Walker fucking killed it in this movie. I think this movie having so many moving parts and just like a go plot line was, you know, I think that just satisfies my brain. I just enjoy fast-paced shit, I guess, so this movie worked for me. And I agree with Tanner, I liked all the twists. I especially liked the ending where, you know, he just seemingly dies. And we're like, dude, that whole movie, he was being a badass and getting shit done, and then he... Like, it's that moment where it's like the hero does all this, and it's something at the very end that gets him. And he was even trying to play the hero role. The kid's like, oh, we need to go to the hospital. He's like, that's fine, we need to get you home to her mother. But, like, also the mom is in the middle of killing herself, so it's like, it's a real tense moment there at the end. And so you think that everything, it's almost like everything he did amounted to nothing at the end until, like, I did notice it. It was kind of like a little thing if the audience was paying enough attention. The way that the wife and the kid were reacting weren't. And I was like, at first in my head, I was like, man, this is really bad acting on their part. But then, like, when they were getting into the car, the way she just threw the flag into the car, I was like, hold on, does this mean what I think it does? And they get back to the farm, and he's alive. He just faked his own death so he can continue being undercover cop. I thought that shit was crazy. I loved that. That was awesome.
I mean, presumably he's actually retired and under witness protection now.
Yeah, presumably. I wasn't a huge fan of that twist, personally.
No? Oh my god,
also,
I love that.
I wasn't huge into the fact that he was an undercover cop either the whole time.
Yeah.
That was like... It just doesn't make a lot of sense with the other decisions he decides to make throughout the film, especially right after that reveal where, you know, they've got the guy who they've been hunting down this whole time, presumably, and he, you know, manages to get his gun away, and so he's got the dude in a situation where he doesn't have to kill him, they can book him, they've got all the evidence they need now. Instead, he just fucking shoots him.
I guess that's fair.
Yeah. And honestly, like, that reveal felt so out of left field. I almost was like, oh, it's like a fake out, like that he just happened to put a wire on himself to pretend to be a cop.
Jack and I were assuming that, like, well, he might be lying, I guess, probably, but no, the fucking cavalry arrives just as he's walking out.
Yeah,
I mean,
I completely agree that him being a cop and then the fake out death are kind of lame and whatever. But honestly, I had grown so attached to that character that I didn't want him to be dead at the end of the movie. So even though I thought the way they went about it was kind of stupid, I was happy we got a happy ending at the end still.
Also, by the way, during the scene in which he was quote-unquote dying, like, with his fucking wife and son there, like, crying over him and stuff like that, I felt like it was pretty close to getting me to tear up, to be honest.
Yeah.
But the son he's just not a very good actor. He did not sell me on that shit whatsoever. It just took me out of it completely.
That's kind of what almost ruined the moment. I almost teared up at that moment too, and I agree that kid kind of ruined it. I will say my reaction to him exposing the wiretap is like, maybe he was a corrupt guy. Then, like, somewhere in the off scenes where we're not strictly focused on him, he, like, goes to the cops to be like, oh, hey, this is what's going on. Kind of like a, what's the one we just watched? Midnight Run moment, where he's like, oh, I'll do this thing if you help me out, kind of moment. That's what I thought it was at first, and then when I found out he's, like, with the FBI or whatever, I was kind of like, oh, okay, that's fine. I don't mind that at all. I agree with Tanner. This is... Paul Walker's character is insanely likable, and you just kind of want him to win because he's being a badass the whole movie. At least that's my interpretation of it. I don't know.
Speaking of Paul Walker, I think it's very funny that this is just the same fucking character as the Fast and the Furious.
Yeah, another undercover cop.
Yeah, I guess that's... Oh, yeah, he was an undercover cop in that movie. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, it's a very...
He plays the part well. Wasn't he also in... No, he wasn't in Friday. I'm thinking of another character.
Yeah, you guys have spoken a lot about it. I haven't spoken a ton, but yeah, I think my favorite thing about this movie is just how manic it is. It's hard to really know what's coming up at any given moment, so it's just very continuously entertaining throughout the entirety of it. It's a pretty long film, too. Like, we were like halfway, or like less than halfway through it at some point. We thought we were watching for so much longer, and we're like, where the fuck is this movie going at all? Because we thought we were like going to wrap it up soon, but no. We're like not even like halfway, and it never felt boring. This is a really fucking stupid movie. It's dumb. There's a lot of dumb decisions and very strange editing choices and things like that throughout it. But, like, it's just so entertaining. Like, this is the schlock film for me. I want to watch this again already. Yeah. Even though I don't think it's particularly good. But, like, it's just such a fun movie.
Yeah, it just fucking keeps going. And, like, the characters, honestly, like, aren't that bad either. Like, even people like the fucking abusive father, he does still have some depth to him as well, where it's like, yeah, you know, he beats the shit out of his kid and stuff like that, but, like, the reason that, like, the son and his wife are in this situation to begin with is because his family was gonna fucking kill her, and so he was doing this as, like, a mercy to her and stuff like that to keep her alive. And just that scene at the end where he doesn't end up killing his son, and he gets fucking shot for him, which I would have liked to enjoy that scene more than I did. I wish he, like, put up more of a fight or something instead of just, like, walking away and getting shot, but, you know.
Yeah, that scene left a little much to be desired, but I figured what was going to happen is the guy gets shot up, and then the kid picks up the gun, kills the guy that killed him, but
yeah,
it didn't
that could have been cool too. Which, by the fucking final set piece for this film, being in the, like, neon hockey rink place was really cool as well. That was a very nice touch. I've never really seen something like that done in an action film, but ended up creating for some pretty cool moments. Especially just, like, the fucking goofy hockey players just, like, moving around during this whole fucking fight, and even when the guns come out, they're still there on the ice fucking smacking dudes.
Yeah. I've never thought of the concept of hockey players getting shot, but it's a very funny concept. Also, small note,
Why would you have thought of that?
I don't know. I'm just shocked it's never happened in any other action movie. This is a small thing. Why is the pool of blood in which he was in constantly changing from scene to scene? That's something I noticed. It's a small thing, but, like, the pool of blood he was laying his face in kept changing. I was like, that's a little silly, but oh well. It's
funny, Jackson mentioning them, you guys, like, being about halfway through and checking the time or whatever. I literally did that as well. At some point I was like, man, so much has happened in this movie. I feel like we gotta be getting close now. And so I checked the time, and I was literally halfway through. I'm like, holy fuck, how is that possible?
It just keeps going.
I think it's fine. I think there's enough going on to justify it.
100%. This movie has so many moving parts, and they just keep fucking moving, man. Like, even, like, there's just so much, there's, like, a sense of dread almost in 2, because there's so many things just, like, looming in the background. Like, that is one thing I think this movie does really good, or really well, is just the sense of urgency that the main character has with all the pressure he has. Like, we're continuously, like, basically, like, after every main encounter, he's got another fucking situation with the mobsters that he has to deal with. They're, like, constantly lurking around him, checking on what he's doing and things. It always feels like he's, like, on the fucking edge, and they do a really good job of that too. Like, you know, when he gets, like, sent to the back alley and they kill the other guy that was a cop or whatever, or a fucking rat, you know, like, it always felt like there was a big sense of danger, which definitely helped a lot keeping me engaged.
Yeah, that was a big shock to me.
Yeah, when his son ends up fucking, like, leaving the gun in the bathroom and they come back and it's not there anymore. Just the way in which he just is fucking screaming and bashing the wall, being like, "You've just got me fucking killed!" You feel it. It's so cool.
Yeah. And I don't know if this was you guys, particularly for me during this watch, I feel like this movie got me to think a lot, because obviously our main character is running through possibilities and solutions in his head. So me as one of the audience members was like, okay, what if he does this? And then it makes you think, it's like, well, no, because if he does that, then this happens. And it's like, almost puts you in the frame of mind of the main character, where if he does this, what? And because I think one scene I want to refer to specifically is when he's in the restaurant with, like, his mafia buddies, and then, like, the girl that the kid quote unquote saved, of the kid they're looking for with the gun, walk into, and they're just sitting on the other side. But, like, his son sees that, goes in. It's like, well, why doesn't the kid just say something about the kid being there? It's like, well, no, because if he exposes it there, then they're gonna know, like, the kid got the gun from his house, so he can't just do that. So that's what I mean by this movie makes you think as an audience member of, like, why can't our main character do X, Y, Z? And it's like, oh, because this.
Yeah. One other thing that I found pretty cool about this film was that there were, like, some strangely, like, otherworldly elements to it, too. With, like, the fucking kid when he goes into, like, the park and meets a homeless dude who's, like, a fucking Death Eater from Harry Potter or some shit. And then later on when he's in, like, the pedophile's home and he sees, like, their shadows on the walls and they're, like, these fucking creepy ghouls and shit. Just, like, those little touches as well give us a very unique feel. This film definitely has a very pronounced style.
Yeah, I will say, when the white van was a big tip-off for obvious reasons, and then just the tone and the character of those two right off the bat was, like, disheartening. And then I just liked the nail in the coffin with the shadows on the glass like you were talking about. That really, if it didn't hit home before then, I hope for any audience member it would have really sunk in right then and there. But, you know, to be honest, what the nail in the coffin for me was their demeanor, but I think the last straw for me was like, oh, check out this camera. Isn't this camera neat? In a very suspicious looking playroom? Okay, guys, I felt that was pretty on the nose. So, I was gonna say representative film. That's not the word I want to use.
Kick ass, that's the word you were looking for.
Hell yeah.
Alright, guys, do you have any final words to say about Running Scared?
Dude, this movie has me running scared.
This movie dumb as hell, but it's fun.
You know, talking about it, I feel much higher on it than I was initially going into it. I'll give it a B.
Nice. I'll say an A-. I think that was a fine ranking for what it was.
I'm gonna stick with my A+.
And I'm sticking at my B, and that lands it at an A- overall, head and shoulders above the other two we watched this week.